Hey everyone, it's NW Order for Life here with Seven Deadly Sins Episode 12 review. It's been like 3 weeks since I've done any reviews or videos, and I'm back on track, and I'm trying to catch up as much as I can. So I'm going to try to get the both Seven Deadly Sins episodes done tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to finish up all my other videos. So getting into this episode review, it starts out with Meliodas and Diane. They're fighting because Diane was tricked by Bond last episode that Meliodas was with a bunch of women, and he wasn't, but Bond did just to make the final more interesting, or whatever, because they were in this tournament or whatever, and to win Diane's hammer. And so then they sense that an attack is coming, and Meliodas, Bon, and King, and Deanne, they all start yelling at the town and telling them that they're the seven deadly sins and they better get out before they die or whatever. And that's like after this, a pretty big fight scene between Diane and Meliodas. And then we see Jericho and Gila, and they're attacking. Jericho's a crazy bitch. She's um, kicking and punching. Well, first she cuts up Bond and does like really fast. He can barely, dodge her attacks or anything. And as she's kicking him and punching him, he's like, "Wait, weren't you that boy?" And she was like, "The only reason I was dressing up as a boy was because I was too weak and I was trying to cover that up by pretending to be a man." She said, "But you made me into a woman," and she takes his blood on her face and she smears lipstick on there, and she's like, "I'll have you take responsibility." So that was really interesting. And then Gila is using like these chained explosions on Meliodas, and Jericho and Gila both take Meliodas and Bond like out, like in terms of they knock him unconscious for a while, and King saves the day, and King kicks both of their butts. He he uses his spear or whatever, and he, makes a lot of spears rain down from the sky. He blocks Gilead's explosions, and Jericho's sword strikes, and he just overpowers them, and even uses at one point like this. His spear like becomes like a plant in the earth or whatever, and comes blooms into a sunflower and shoots like all these lasers or light beams of light from the sunflower petals. It looks really cool. And then what happens is that this guy, the referee from the tournament or whatever, is actually a member of the. I don't know if he's a member of the Holy Knights or if he's just like someone that's working with them, but his name is Helbram, and he transforms into Helbram, and he pretty much hurts King a lot and saves the two girls. And it's not looking good for King. He mentions how King has really low stamina, and he pretty much snaps King's staff in two and is keeping ahead of all his moves. And at the very end, King's staff does regenerate, but at the end of the fight, whatever, King's staff does regenerate, but like it's still not doing anything. He just kind of barely gets a strike on Helbram, but King is like, in his heavy form, and he's breathing heavy, and he's got blood. I think he was damaged, so he's in bad situation against this Helbram guy, who is apparently someone that knows King from, before in the past. So I don't know what that's about. And then Veronica finally sees her sister Elizabeth, and this is kind of like not in. This is kind of like a little before this fight happened. But Veronica finds Elizabeth. Elizabeth grew up, from the small potion or the small mushroom that she was affected by. So she got her height back. Veronica found her, gave her some clothes to wear, and then wants Elizabeth to go back with her, and she said no, she wouldn't. And then her holy knight, what's his name, Griamore, he tries to, get Elizabeth to come, whether she likes it or not. And Meliodas appears and pushes, Veronica into him and says, "I'll protect Elizabeth with my life." And Veronica basically proclaims that Hendrickson was correct, that Elizabeth has been brainwashed by Meliodas, and Veronica uses this crystal that Hendrickson told Veronica would imprison any demon if it get it close enough to a demon, and she says whatever he told her to say, and Meliodas gets sucked up into the crystal, and Elizabeth, is upset, and she tries to, stop it. Bond interferes, and Elizabeth gets caught in like a sphere from Grimoire's ability, as the ability called Perfect Sphere, and he like makes a sphere, and it's impenetrable. You can't break it from the inside or the out. According to him, he says meteors can strike it and it wouldn't do nothing. And so Bond grabs Veronica, and Bond, having recovered from getting kicked, by getting like hurt from Jericho, whatever, he grabs Veronica and puts his finger in her neck. Says he'll kill her if he don't do if Greenmore don't do what he says. And then Jericho and Gilla, having gotten away from King because King is fighting Helbram, they attack Bond from behind, and basically they make Greenmore drop his shield, and they try to take Princess Elizabeth. And Veronica is saying, no, I'm going to take her. Don't worry about it. Your own mission is only to get the sword. And they say, no, we need her dead, or we need her. That's our mission, or whatever. And they get kind of aggressive with Veronica. So Grimoire traps both Jericho and Gilla, God, these names, in his perfect sphere, or whatever. So they can't do nothing. And then Elizabeth tries to run away. Veronica chases her. They end up running into one of Gilla's explosion ball. She has like this ability where she can set like explosions anywhere, kind of like a mine. And they run into one of those, and Veronica looks like she died from it. She told Elizabeth she loved her. Elizabeth told her the same, and then Grimoire kind of screamed in agony, and his concentration broke the sphere. So Jericho and Gilla got out, and Gilla blew up Grimoire. I don't know if he's dead or not, because he's a holy knight. He probably is not dead from one explosion, I would think. But Jericho's like, what are we going to do? Like, he's the son of a holy knight. So he's probably Dreyfus's son, the other really commander holy knight guy, instead of Henderson. And Gilla's just like, we'll just say that the 7 deadly sins killed him. So, they're both crazy. They're psycho. And, yeah, and then Meliodas, or Elizabeth is screaming for Meliodas to help her when she's got the crystal in her hand from Veronica. The purple crystal that trapped Meliodas. And the crystal shines, and Meliodas comes out, and like with this black tattooish thing all over half of his body, his face and arms and torso and stuff. And that's pretty much the episode. I thought it was really good, as always. I really enjoy this anime series. King looks really, really strong when it comes to magic and fighting and weapons. But when it comes to stamina, as Helbram pointed out, he's not strong at all. And it was pretty cool to see how he can be so OP in one aspect, and then, so weak in another, depending on the situation. And, kind of sad what happened to Veronica. I'm pretty sure she's dead because, I don't think she can survive an explosion. I am excited to see what Meliodas is going to do to to Gilla and Jericho in his probably demon form, since he was caught in this demon crystal thing. And I forgot to mention that Hauser, he was trying to help Diane save citizens, and one of the holy knights that came with Jericho and Gilla, probably a weakling, not nowhere near as strong as them. He kind of tossed Deanne down a ravine or whatever, or I don't know if he broke the ground or if he tossed her in, I forget, but she got thrown in there. I'm sure she'll be fine, especially since Elizabeth got her height back. I'm sure Deanne will too. But yeah, and that's it. So I thought it was a great episode. Jericho is really crazy as a villain. She's a psycho. Gila is a really crazy villain, just with her, she's got an emotionless composure. I mean, so is Jericho now, but I mean, they're both a really good pair of female psycho villains. So yeah, and they have good powers. Jericho with her light, her really fast sword slashes that you can't even see, and Gila with her explosion techniques, like making fire and exploding whenever she wants. So really, really cool stuff. Excited for Meliodas, the next episode, which I'm going to watch and then review shortly after. So yeah, episode gets a 9 out of 10 from me. because I just really enjoyed it and the characters and everything. So let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and tell me what you think about the show so far, the Seven Deadly Sins, whatever you want to talk about. Please rate the video and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos in the future. Thanks, and have a nice night.